Have you ever noticed that the one thing that makes AI so incredibly powerful, its creativity, is also kind of its biggest weakness? Well, today we're going to dig into a technology called function calling. And trust me, it is the key to turning AI from just a chatbot into an intelligent doer that can actually get things done in the real world.
So let's start right there with that central problem. When you ask a large language model a question, you get this creative, human-like response, right? And that is amazing for, say, writing an email or brainstorming ideas. But what happens when you need precise, perfectly formatted data for another computer program to use? All of a sudden, that amazing creativity becomes a huge liability. It becomes unreliable.
And here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Imagine you ask an AI to pull some student info for your database. For one student, it might spit out the grade as 3.7. For the next one, it gives you 3.8 GPA. Now, you and I can see they mean the same thing, no problem. But for a computer program that is expecting only a number, that little extra GPA text, that could break the entire system. This inconsistency is a massive roadblock for building dependable AI applications.
So how do we get all the intelligence of an AI, but without the unpredictable formatting? Well, the answer is function calling. It's basically a way to give the AI a very specific set of tools and a strict rulebook on exactly how to use them. This ensures its output is structured and reliable every single time. Think of it like this. Function calling is basically a bridge. On one side of the bridge, you've got the creative, language-loving AI. And on the other side, you have all your external tools, your APIs, your databases, that all need data in a perfect, rigid format. Function calling is the translator, and maybe the tough security guard standing right in the middle of that bridge, making sure information passes between them flawlessly. Okay, that might sound a little abstract, so let's break it down with a concrete example. We're going to see how a simple, everyday question gets transformed into a real-world action by using function calling. It all starts with a user asking a question, just like they'd talk to a person. No special commands, no weird computer code. Just a simple request, hey, find me a Microsoft Azure course that's good for a beginner. Now, behind the scenes, a really cool four-step process kicks off. First, the user makes the request. Second, the AI analyzes it, figures out the right tool to use, and pulls out the specific info, the parameters, that tool needs. Then, and this is super important, your application's code, not the AI, takes those instructions and actually does the task. And finally, the AI gets the result and presents a nice, helpful answer back to the user. The real magic, though, happens in step 2. This is where the AI acts like an incredibly smart translator. It takes that normal sentence, find a good course for a beginner student to learn Azure, and it pulls out the key pieces of info into a perfectly structured format. It knows the role is student, the product is Azure, and the level is beginner. Just perfectly clean data. So here's the crucial part. Once that data is all nice and structured, the AI's job as a translator is done. Your own application can now confidently take these clean parameters and use them to make a real-world API call to, say, the Microsoft Learn catalog, knowing that the request is going to be understood perfectly. No errors, no crashes. Now, the API, it sends back raw data, probably just a list of course links and IDs, stuff for a computer. So the final step is for the AI to take that computer-readable data and translate it back into a human-friendly response. It'll present the best course options in a helpful, conversational way. It just closes the loops so beautifully. So yeah, finding a course is a great example. But this single capability unlocks a massive range of new possibilities. It's what's making AI applications dramatically more powerful and genuinely useful in the real world. Really, there are 3 main ways this is a total game changer. First, you can call external tools. Think about how ChatGPT plugins work. You can tell your AI, email this summary to my team, and bam, it just does it. Second, you can create those API calls or database queries, just like in our Course Finder example. And third, you can use it just to pull structured data out of messy text, which solves that exact problem we started with. When you step back and put all this together, you start to realize we are watching a fundamental shift in what AI is even for. It's no longer just some passive conversation partner or a fancy search engine. This right here is the big paradigm shift. We're moving from an AI that just knows things to an AI that does things. Function calling is what upgrades AI from a simple chatbot to a real action taker.
It connects that amazing language understanding to the endless world of digital tools, letting it act on our behalf reliably and effectively. And that leaves us with a pretty mind-blowing question to think about. We've just given our most powerful AI models a reliable way to use pretty much any digital tool we can dream up. So what does that unlock? What are the huge, complex, multi-step problems that were totally impossible before, but are now suddenly within our reach?